Story number 1. The Echoes from the Void. As a pensioner and grandmother now, my days are filled with a serene calmness that sharply contrasts with the years of my youth. In the quiet of my suburban home, I often reflect on my time with a renowned space company, a period marked by strange occurrences and inexplicable events. The most unsettling of all was the tale of the vanishing satellite, a story from 2011 that still sends shivers down my spine. Back then, I was a part of a dynamic team of young engineers and scientists, all under the age of 30. Our mission was straightforward: to monitor and analyze data from satellites orbiting Earth. However, everything changed when one of our satellites, Artemis 4, mysteriously disappeared from all tracking systems. It was as if it had been swallowed by the void of space. The weeks following the disappearance were fraught with tension and confusion. My colleagues, including a brilliant engineer named Jack and a dedicated data analyst named Sophia, worked tirelessly to unravel the mystery. Theories abounded, from technical malfunctions to covert military operations, yet none could explain the satellite's sudden vanishing. Then, as abruptly as it had disappeared, Artemis 4 reappeared on our tracking systems. The relief, however, was short-lived. The data it transmitted was unlike anything we had ever seen. It was garbled, nonsensical, and yet, within the chaos, there seemed to be a pattern, a message hidden in the madness. As we delved into the data, strange occurrences began to unfold around us. Equipment malfunctioned without reason, eerie whispers filled our control room, and shadows flickered in the corners of our eyes. The most chilling event was when Sophia claimed she heard a voice through the static of our communication systems, calling out her name in a desperate, haunting plea. Determined to find the truth, we began an off-the-record investigation, poring over the satellite's data. Jack discovered a series of hidden coordinates within the data, leading to a remote location on Earth. Against all reason, we decided to investigate. Our journey led us to a desolate area, where the air was thick with an inexplicable sense of dread. There, we found remnants of what appeared to be an old, unauthorized ground station, long abandoned. The logs we uncovered spoke of a forbidden experiment, an attempt to communicate with something beyond our understanding, something that resided in the depths of space. As we pieced together the horrifying truth, the realization dawned upon us. Artemis 4 had become an unwilling conduit for a cosmic entity, an entity that sought to reach into our world. The voices, the shadows, the whispers, they were all manifestations of its attempts to bridge the gap between our realms. We destroyed the evidence, fearing the repercussions if such knowledge fell into the wrong hands. But the events of 2011, the vanishing of Artemis 4, and the horrors we uncovered remain etched in my memory. Now, as I recount these tales to my grandchildren, I can't help but wonder if the void is still watching, still whispering, waiting for another chance to echo its terrifying presence into our world. Story number 2. The Haunting Silence of the Cosmos. As a retired grandmother, my days are now filled with the gentle hum of suburban life, a stark contrast to the years I spent working at a space company where the mysteries of the cosmos were a daily encounter. Of all the stories from those days, none haunts me as much as the incidents of 2012, known among us as the Whispering Stars. Back then, I was part of a team that included some of the brightest young minds, all under 30, who were as enthusiastic about space exploration as I was. Our mission was to monitor spacewalks and analyze audio-visual data from these expeditions. It was a routine operation until astronauts began reporting strange whispers during their spacewalks, whispers with no identifiable source. One of the astronauts, a brave young woman named Amelia, described the whispers as voices calling out from the abyss, speaking in an unknown language. Her description sent chills down our spines. As the lead audio technician, Michael, a 28-year-old known for his skepticism, started investigating these anomalies, our intrigue turned to dread. We analyzed countless hours of audio recordings from the spacewalks. Initially, the whispers seemed like random static interference, but as we delved deeper, a pattern emerged. The whispers weren't just noise, they seemed almost intentional. The situation escalated when an astronaut, John, reported hearing his name whispered during a spacewalk. He described feeling the sudden chill, despite the absence of atmosphere in space. Following this incident, John was grounded due to psychological concerns, but we knew there was more to it. Determined to uncover the truth, our team began a secret investigation. We set up specialized equipment to isolate and analyze the whispers. One night, as we listened to the recordings, we heard a series of chilling, indecipherable phrases. It was as if something out there was trying to communicate with us. But it was the last recording that left us terrified. Clear among the whispers was a phrase in English, repeating the ominous words, "They are coming." The voice was unlike any human voice, filled with an eerie resonance that seemed to echo through the cosmos. The investigation took a turn for the worse when Michael, who had become obsessed with the recordings, disappeared without a trace. His last notes hinted at a horrifying theory that the whispers were not just sounds, but a form of cosmic consciousness reaching out from the depths of space. We reported our findings to the higher-ups, but the investigation was abruptly shut down. The official statement claimed equipment malfunction and astronaut stress as explanations for the incidents. But those of us involved knew the truth was far more unsettling. Now, as I recount these stories to my grandchildren, I often gaze up at the stars, wondering if the whispers are still out there, echoing the secrets of a universe we are yet to fully understand. The memory of those haunting events at the space company, the unexplained disappearance of Michael, and the chilling message from the stars linger with me, a haunting reminder of the unknown that lies beyond our earthly realm. Story number 3. Whispers of the Cosmos. Now a pensioner grandmother living in a quiet U.S. suburb, I often find myself reminiscing about my time at a space company, particularly the unnerving events of 2013 that still send shivers down my spine. Back then, I was part of a team tasked with analyzing audio communications from space missions. The most chilling incident, which remains unexplained to this day, was known among us as echoes from the void. During one specific mission, the crew, young and ambitious astronauts under the age of 30, reported hearing strange, echoing voices during a routine operation in space. The voices were faint, yet distinct, and seemed to come from all around them, a phenomenon that defied all logical explanations. The crew included a confident pilot named Alex, a 29-year-old with a skeptical mind, and Emma, a 28-year-old engineer known for her composure under pressure. The reports of the voices were initially met with disbelief, but the recordings confirmed their unsettling claims. As the lead investigator, I worked alongside a talented young technician, Lucas, who was 27 at the time. We spent countless hours analyzing the audio, trying to determine if the sounds were a result of equipment malfunction or a trick of the mind. However, the more we listened, the more we realized that these were not just random noises. The voices seemed to be calling out, repeating names and phrases that were eerily relevant to the crew's personal lives. The situation escalated when Alex, during a spacewalk, reported hearing his late sister's voice, calling him by a childhood nickname. He was visibly shaken, a reaction completely out of character for the seasoned astronaut. Following this incident, he was grounded due to psychological concerns, but we knew there was something more to these voices. Our investigation took a darker turn when Emma claimed to see fleeting shadows accompanying the voices. This was during a transmission where the audio was filled with an intense, almost palpable whispering that left the entire crew disturbed and bewildered. In our quest for answers, we discovered old mission logs that hinted at similar occurrences in the past, incidents that were quickly covered up and explained away as stress-induced hallucinations. But the patterns were too consistent, the voices too clear to be mere figments of imagination. The climax of our investigation was a night when Lucas and I isolated a particular audio segment. The voices in the recording were clear, speaking in an unknown language, yet the tone was unmistakably menacing. It was as if something in the vastness of space was reaching out, attempting to communicate with us, or perhaps warn us. Despite our efforts to bring these findings to light, the mission was abruptly classified, and all further inquiries were shut down. Lucas and I were reassigned, and the incident was buried in the confidential archives of the space company. Now, years later, as I share these stories with my grandchildren, I often gaze up at the stars, wondering about the mysteries they hold. The events of 2013, the echoing voices from the void, remain a haunting testament to the unknown wonders and terrors that lie beyond our earthly realm. Story number 4. The Spectre of the Void. Now a retired grandmother, living a quiet life in a peaceful U.S. suburb, I often find myself recounting tales from my younger days. One such tale, from my service in the space company back in 2014, stands out for its sheer eeriness and remains etched in my memory. It's the story of the Phantom Astronaut, an incident that still haunts my dreams. I was part of a team monitoring the space mission, which included some incredibly talented individuals, all under the age of 30. Our job was to oversee the mission's progress and ensure the safety of the crew. The mission was proceeding as planned until one uneventful night, we received a frantic communication from Sarah, a 29-year-old astronaut aboard the spacecraft. Sarah reported seeing a figure in a spacesuit floating outside the spacecraft. This was alarming, as it was not accounted for in any of our mission plans. The figure appeared human, but there was something off about it. Its movements were erratic, and the suit looked outdated, not matching any designs from current or past missions. My colleague, a young engineer named Eric, was the first to suggest that it might be a trick of light or a psychological effect of space travel. But the situation took a darker turn when camera footage from the spacecraft confirmed Sarah's report. The footage was grainy, but the figure was unmistakably there, a silent, ominous presence in the void of space. As we delved deeper into this mystery, our team uncovered old mission logs that spoke of a similar sighting, dating back several decades. This earlier encounter was documented but never fully explained, dismissed as a stress-induced hallucination. Our investigation was abruptly halted when Sarah, during a subsequent spacewalk, claimed to have come face-to-face with the Phantom Astronaut. She described the figure as having a ghostly, translucent quality, with eyes that seemed to stare into the very depths of her soul. Sarah's experience left her deeply shaken, and she was quickly brought back to Earth for psychological evaluation. The incident was swiftly classified, and we were instructed to cease all inquiries. But whispers of the Phantom Astronaut continued to circulate within the space company. Some believed it was the spirit of an astronaut from a failed mission long ago, forever doomed to wander the cosmos. Others speculated about more sinister, otherworldly explanations. Today, as I share these stories with my grandchildren, I'm often met with wide-eyed wonder and disbelief. The mystery of the Phantom Astronaut, a spectral figure haunting the vastness of space, remains unsolved. It serves as a chilling reminder of the unknown dangers and mysteries that lie beyond our world, in the unexplored and unfathomable reaches of the universe. Story number 5. The Enigma of the Lunar Shadow. Now living the quiet life of a pensioner grandmother in a small U.S. suburb, I often find myself drawn back to the memories of my time at a space company, particularly the events of 2015. These were the days that still haunt me, filled with inexplicable occurrences and unsolved mysteries. The most chilling among these was the incident known as the anomaly on the moon. At the time, I was part of an enthusiastic team of young scientists and engineers, all under the age of 30, dedicated to lunar exploration. Our work was groundbreaking, a blend of passion and scientific rigor. But everything changed when we discovered something inexplicable on the lunar surface. It started with an observation by a young geologist named Emily, who was 28 at the time. She noticed an unusual structure in the Mercurium, a structure that did not match any known geological formations. The images captured by our lunar satellite showed a shadowy, unidentifiable object, almost artificial in appearance. The excitement within our team was palpable. We speculated about the possibility of an undiscovered meteorite or an anomaly in the lunar regolith. But our excitement quickly turned to unease when the structure vanished just as mysteriously as it had appeared, with no trace upon the next lunar observation. As the lead investigator, I worked closely with Alex, a 27-year-old radar specialist. We pored over the data, cross-referencing every possible explanation, from equipment malfunction to optical illusions. But there was no rational explanation for the structure's sudden disappearance. Our investigation took a darker turn when unexplained occurrences began to happen within our facility. Our equipment started malfunctioning, data was inexplicably lost, and several team members reported hearing whispers and seeing fleeting shadows in the corridors. The most disturbing incident involved a young engineer named Mark, who claimed to have seen figures in spacesuits wandering the facility late at night. His reports were initially dismissed as stress-induced hallucinations until he was found unconscious in the data center, with no recollection of how he got there. We delved deeper into our research, uncovering old mission logs that hinted at similar sightings from past lunar missions, sightings that were quickly covered up and never spoken of again. These logs spoke of shadowy figures and unexplained lights on the lunar surface, phenomena that defied explanation. Despite our efforts to continue the investigation, the project was abruptly shut down, and the incident was classified. We were sworn to secrecy, our findings buried in the confidential archives of the space company. Now, as I share these stories with my grandchildren, I'm often met with skeptical looks. But the memory of the anomaly on the moon, the unexplained shadows, and the haunting whispers within our facility remain with me. The incident serves as a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond our Earth, in the unexplored and enigmatic depths of our universe. Story number 6. The Whisper from Beyond. Now a pensioner grandmother living a serene life in a quiet U.S. suburb, my nights are often filled with reflections on my past, especially the years spent at a space company where the unknown was our everyday. Among the many stories I recall, the one that still sends a chill down my spine is from 2016, the year we received a signal from the depths of space, a signal that defied all our understanding and plunged us into a realm of unfathomable mystery. Back then, I was part of a vibrant team of young scientists, all under 30, dedicated to the exploration of deep space. We were monitoring a mission that involved probing the farthest reaches of our galaxy when we received a complex, structured signal that appeared out of nowhere. It was unlike anything we had ever encountered, a series of rhythmic pulses and patterns that defied any known cosmic or artificial sources. The signal was first detected by Lisa, a 29-year-old astrophysicist, whose initial excitement soon turned into unease as we tried to decipher its origins. I, being the senior data analyst, worked alongside a bright young engineer named Ethan, who was as intrigued as he was baffled by the signal. As we delved deeper into the analysis, strange occurrences began to unfold within our facility. Our equipment started failing inexplicably, data would erase itself mysteriously from our servers, and more unsettling was the pervasive feeling of being watched, as if the signal had brought something with it. One of the most chilling incidents involved a young intern, Michael. He claimed to have heard whispering voices through the static of our communication systems, voices that spoke in an indecipherable language yet seemed to convey an urgent message. Our investigation took a darker turn when we isolated a particular frequency within the signal. Upon playing it back, the air in the control room grew cold, and every screen flickered with fleeting images of distant, unknown galaxies, as if offering us a glimpse into uncharted corners of the universe. The climax of our investigation was a night none of us would ever forget. As we were analyzing the signal, a sudden, intense wave of energy surged through our facility, shutting down all our systems and plunging us into darkness. When the power returned, the signal was gone, as if it had never existed, leaving behind only a haunting silence and a myriad of unanswered questions. Despite our efforts to document and report the incident, the mission was classified, and our findings were buried. We were left with no explanations, only theories and the lingering fear of what the signal might have been: the cry for help, a warning, or a communication from an intelligence beyond our comprehension. Today, as I recount these tales to my grandchildren, their eyes wide with wonder and disbelief, I can't help but look up at the stars and ponder. The events of 2016, the mysterious signal from the depths of space, remain a testament to the unknown terrors and wonders that lie beyond the reaches of our understanding, whispers from the vast, unexplored cosmos. Story number 7. The Unseen Passage of Time. As a pensioner grandmother, nestled in the tranquility of my suburban home, I often find myself lost in memories of my past, particularly those from my time at a space company. Among the myriad of strange and unexplainable incidents, the one that remains vividly etched in my mind is known as the Lost Hours from the year 2017. It was an event that defied the laws of time and space, leaving us with more questions than answers. Back then, our team was composed of young, brilliant minds, all under the age of 30, fervently dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. The incident involved a crew aboard the spacecraft Orion, who were on a routine mission orbiting Earth. It was a mission like any other, until the inexplicable happened. The crew, including a sharp-witted pilot named Anna and a level-headed engineer named Max, reported a bizarre occurrence. According to them, several hours had passed in what felt like mere minutes. This time discrepancy was not just a feeling. The clocks aboard Orion showed a loss of exactly 4 hours and 17 minutes, a loss that could not be accounted for by any technical glitch or human error. I, being the mission's lead communications officer, along with a young data analyst named Kyle, delved into this enigma. Our initial theories ranged from electromagnetic interference to a fault in the spacecraft's timekeeping systems. But as we investigated, the situation grew more perplexing. Strange occurrences began to unfold within our facility. Our computers malfunctioned, displaying jumbled data and indecipherable codes. In the audio recordings from Orion, amidst the static, we heard faint, unidentifiable whispers, as if a distant conversation was taking place in a language unknown to us. One of the most unsettling incidents was reported by Max during a debriefing session. He recounted feeling an overwhelming sense of déjà vu and witnessing fleeting shadows moving just beyond his field of vision during the lost hours. His account was met with skepticism, but I could see the genuine fear in his eyes. Our investigation took a darker turn when we reviewed the spacecraft's video footage. For a brief moment, during the time of the anomaly, the camera captured what appeared to be a flickering figure in the spacecraft, an ethereal presence that had no logical explanation. The climax of our investigation was as baffling as it was terrifying. Kyle discovered a pattern in the static of the audio recordings, a repeating sequence that, when decoded, formed a set of coordinates in deep space, far beyond our explored universe. Despite our efforts to further investigate, the mission was abruptly classified, and we were instructed to cease all inquiries. The incident was officially attributed to a temporal anomaly, a vague explanation that offered no real answers. Now, as I share these stories with my curious grandchildren, I can't help but feel a chill run down my spine. The events of 2017, the lost hours aboard Orion, remain a haunting reminder of the unfathomable mysteries that lie in the depths of space, the unseen forces that govern our universe, and the horrors that lurk in the passage of time unobserved. Story number 8. The Unseen Watcher. Now a grandmother living a quiet life in the suburbs, I often recount tales from my days at a space company to my grandchildren. Among these tales, one from 2018 stands out, shrouded in mystery and fear. It's known among the few who experienced it as the shadow in the stars. Back then, I was part of a dynamic team with young, bright-eyed professionals all under the age of 30. Our mission was routine surveillance of a spacecraft in orbit. However, this routine was disrupted by an unnerving phenomenon reported by the crew, a persistent shadow that seemed to lurk just outside their field of vision, visible only from the corner of their eyes and vanishing when looked at directly. The first report came from a young astronaut named Clara, a 29-year-old who prided herself on her rationality. She reported seeing a fleeting shadow that seemed to follow the spacecraft, a sighting that was initially dismissed as a trick of light or stress-induced hallucination. But as more crew members reported similar experiences, we couldn't ignore it any longer. I, along with a talented engineer named Lucas, spearheaded an investigation. We scrutinized the spacecraft's external cameras and sensors for any anomalies, but found nothing. The shadow remained elusive, uncatchable on any of our instruments. The situation took a darker turn when one of the crew members, Alex, reported feeling a chilling presence, as if being watched by an unseen entity. His accounts were met with skepticism until he mysteriously passed out during a routine check and was brought back to Earth for medical evaluation, where he spoke of whispering voices and cold hands grasping at him from the void. Our investigation deepened, uncovering old mission logs that hinted at similar experiences by astronauts in previous missions, experiences that were quickly brushed under the rug. These logs spoke of shadows moving in the darkness of space, unexplained feelings of dread, and a sense of being watched by something otherworldly. The climax of our investigation was as baffling as it was terrifying. During a data analysis session, we isolated a frame from the spacecraft's external camera that showed a vague, humanoid figure in the distance, a figure that was not there in the frames before and after. This discovery sent a wave of fears through our team, a fear that something inexplicable was out there in the vastness of space. Despite our efforts to delve deeper, the incident was swiftly classified, and we were instructed to cease all inquiries. The official explanation given was a combination of space debris and psychological stress, but we knew the truth was far more unsettling. Now, as I share these tales, my grandchildren listen with a mixture of fascination and disbelief. The events of 2018, the shadow that followed the spacecraft, remain a haunting testament to the mysteries and terrors that lie beyond our world, in the unexplored and unfathomable depths of space, where shadows dwell in the stars. Story number 9. Echoes of a Martian Enigma. Now settled into the tranquility of my pensioner life in a suburban neighborhood, I often recount to my grandchildren tales of my time at a space company. Among these stories, one from 2019, known as The Red Planet's Whispers, stands out for its sheer inexplicability and the deep-seated dread it instilled in us all. In 2019, I was part of a team overseeing a manned mission to Mars, an endeavor that represented the pinnacle of human exploration. The crew, including a young and brilliant commander named Laura and a skilled engineer named Jake, both under 30, embarked on this historic journey with a blend of excitement and apprehension. A few weeks after landing on Mars, the crew began reporting unusual auditory phenomena. They described hearing soft, indistinct voices and unidentifiable sounds that seemed to emanate from the Martian landscape itself. These reports were initially met with skepticism. After all, Mars' atmosphere couldn't carry sound as Earth's did. As the lead communications officer, I worked with Michael, a young and enthusiastic audio technician, to analyze the recordings sent back from Mars. The sounds were faint, almost ethereal, but unmistakably there. They were like whispers in a forgotten language, echoing through the red valleys and hills of the distant planet. The situation escalated when Laura reported hearing her name being called out during a routine EVA, extravehicular activity. This incident left her visibly shaken. She described the voice as familiar yet unplaceable, as if dredged up from a long-lost memory. Our investigation took a darker turn when Jake began experiencing vivid nightmares, in which the whispers grew into deafening screams, jolting him awake. He claimed that these nightmares seemed to bleed into reality, leaving him disoriented and fearful. One of the most chilling moments of our investigation occurred when we isolated a particular audio segment. For a brief moment, amidst the Martian wind, a clear voice spoke in English, saying, "They are listening." This discovery sent a wave of terror through the team, a fear of an unseen, unknowable presence on Mars. Despite our efforts to uncover more, the mission was abruptly cut short. The crew was ordered to return to Earth, and the audio recordings were classified. The official explanation was a combination of psychological stress and interference from Martian weather phenomena, but we knew the truth was far more complex and unsettling. Now, as I share these stories with wide-eyed grandchildren, I often gaze at the night sky, wondering about the mysteries of Mars. The events of 2019, the whispers from the Red Planet, remain an enigmatic testament to the unknown forces that may dwell in the vastness of space, whispering secrets in the dust and rocks of alien worlds. Story number 10. Shadows in the Cosmic Dance. Now a pensioner grandmother, living a peaceful life in a quiet U.S. suburb, I often find solace in sharing tales of my past, especially those from my time at a space company. Of these stories, one from 2020, known as The Unexplained Orbit, often comes to mind, a story that unveils the mysteries and terrors hidden in the cosmos. In 2020, I was part of a team of young, enthusiastic engineers and scientists, all under the age of 30, working on a project involving the monitoring of satellites. Our routine was disrupted when one of our satellites, Athena 3, inexplicably changed its orbit. This anomaly was not caused by any known commands or identifiable external forces, leading us to speculate about unknown gravitational anomalies or uncharted celestial phenomena. The satellite's sudden shift in orbit was first noticed by a sharp-minded engineer named Ethan, who was 29 at the time. His discovery sent ripples of both excitement and concern through our team. We delved into the analysis, trying to understand this cosmic aberration. As we probed deeper into the data, bizarre occurrences began to unfold within our facility. Our computers started to malfunction, displaying strange, cryptic messages before crashing. Our communication systems picked up static filled with faint, incoherent whispers, as if a distant conversation was happening in the void of space. One of the most disturbing incidents involved a young data analyst named Sarah. She claimed that while analyzing the satellite's trajectory data, she saw fleeting images in the static on her screen, ghostly figures and symbols that made no logical sense but left her deeply unsettled. Our investigation took an even darker turn when we discovered that the satellite's new orbit aligned with an ancient star map, one depicting constellations used in forgotten cosmic rituals, according to historical texts. This revelation was both fascinating and horrifying, suggesting a connection between our modern technology and something ancient and unexplained. The climax of our investigation was as mysterious as it was chilling. During a routine data analysis session, the screens in our control room simultaneously displayed an image of a shadowy, indistinct object in space, near Athena 3's new orbit. The image was there for only a split second before every system in the facility shut down, plunging us into an eerie silence. Despite our efforts to resume the investigation, the project was abruptly terminated, and all findings were classified. The official statement attributed the satellite's orbital change to a previously undetected astrophysical phenomenon, but we knew there was more to it. Now, as I recount these events to my grandchildren, with their eyes wide in both fear and fascination, I can't help but wonder what mysteries lie beyond our understanding. The events of 2020, the unexplained orbit of Athena 3, remain a haunting enigma, a reminder of the unseen forces that dance in the vast, dark ballet of the cosmos.